is known as the father of American psychology, and in the 19th century, he proclaimed human beings only use a fraction of their own potential. And I believe it. I believe it because a recent Gallup poll revealed that 2/3 of North Americans find their work to be about as satisfying as the Star Wars prequels. And
welcome back, everybody. So what if you could change your life in an instant? Our next guest says that you can solve your problems in a flash with an epiphany.
In his new book, The Holy S Moment, author James Fell uses scientific research to explain how to make an epiphany happen and transform your life for the better. He joins us now.
Well, the interesting thing is that there's a lot of science to it, and these are far more common than a lot of people know, because
motivates you in some ways, or is it a different perspective on health?
Fear is actually a terrible motivator. It's interesting. I prefer to look at it with a sense of passion. Like, what am I going to empower to motivate you and drive you forward through toil and adversity for months and years to achieve this goal?
And you know what you speak.
And part of the reason for that is that many of us have bought into the lie that is the Karate Kid. Now, who here's seen the Karate Kid? I'm talking about the original from the 1980s. All right. Who here cheered when Daniel-san won the All-Valley Karate Tournament with that illegal crane kick to Johnny's face? Who here thinks that you can become a master of karate after just a few weeks of painting fences and waxing cars? Doesn't work that way. I was 15 when I saw that movie. When my daughter was 15, she wasn't watching karate movies. She was living them. That's how old she was when she won a gold medal at the USA Open Karate Tournament in Las Vegas. You know what she would say about the Karate Kid? This movie's stupid. That's what she would say. I mean, it was the 1980s. It's the decade of bad decisions. We had the all-pastel outfits, and we had the flock of seagulls haircuts, and we had the mobile phones that were the size of a wiener dog. Speaking of which, it may be an inspiring underdog story, but it doesn't have the greatest message because it perpetuates the myth of the miracle shortcut to success. My daughter won top spot on that podium because she'd spent the previous decade training as much as 20 hours a week in order to get that good. And she did it because she had an inspired sense of vision that drove her forward. She had a goal that she was determined to achieve. And if you have an ambitious goal that you want to chase, it's going to take a lot of work in order to make it come to fruition. And yet, we see constantly this idea of the miracle shortcut. We see it in things like get rich quick, or lose weight fast, or learn a language, muy rápido. Deep down, most of us know that this whole idea of the miracle shortcut to success is pretty much bogus. We know that, there's no such thing as a miracle shortcut to success. Okay, now that I've made that clear, let me tell you about this miracle shortcut to success that I uncovered.
I realized that this was a hole of my own digging, and I went from being just very lazy and doing the bare minimum to suddenly realizing that if I worked really hard, I could climb out of this hole and see the light at the end of the tunnel. And part of it had to do with this girl that I really liked and, wanted to impress. And we've been together almost 30 years now, so I guess it worked out. The big dopamine hit. It feels wonderful when it happens, this emotional sensation. But then to get those ongoing little hits of dopamine that keep you on track toward the goal, you have to have little bits of progress.
But what can change, sometimes with a sudden flash of insight or inspiration, is the way that you feel about the work that it takes to accomplish the goal.
Bullied as a kid. I think that, when they were playing that game where you had to kick the severed goat's head between two marble pillars and they were choosing teams, I think he always got picked last. It made him bitter. Yeah, okay, sure, you're good at sports, but how are you at self-reflection? It's the fast way of thinking, that sort of unconscious answer to the question of the problems that have been plaguing your life in some way. And it can be, these insights are like cats. They don't always come when called, but they can be coaxed. There's certain things. It's not about behavior change. It's about a change in your core identity of who you are, where you suddenly realize something very important about yourself and something that you feel that you must do. And inspiration is the real miracle shortcut to success. Inspiration is what creates your excitement and your passion. And then an inspired vision can take that work and transform it from feeling like drudgery into feeling like destiny. Thank you very much.